Welcome to CodeWhisper Podcast, episode 5. We've all been there, haven't we? It's like 3 a.m., this amazing idea for an app just hits you. You're totally buzzing, ready to code the next big thing. You fire up your editor, maybe make a new file, and then nothing. You know how to code, right? You get the syntax down, you understand the concepts, but suddenly, what do you actually build? And that, that initial energy just vanishes. You start Googling top 10 projects, fall down this YouTube rabbit hole, and suddenly you're just watching what our source calls brain rot content instead of actually writing any code. It's a super common thing for programmers, really, from beginners right up to experienced folks.
Oh, absolutely. That what to build paralysis, it's incredibly real, and it traps so many developers.
So this deep dive, we're aiming to tackle that exact problem. We're looking at insights from a really great source, the YouTube video 20 programming projects that will make you a god at coding by the Coding Sloth.
Yeah, the creator mentioned facing that same struggle, actually. And what sparked their inspiration was finding this GitHub repository called Build Your Own X.
Right, which sounds amazing, like step-by-step guides to rebuild popular tech from scratch.
Exactly, a really cool concept.
So our mission today is to unpack a curated list of these project ideas. We're talking beginner right through to really advanced stuff. The idea is to give you, the listener, some practical ways to use your coding skills, build a portfolio that, actually stands out, and really deepen your understanding. And the great thing is you don't need, tons of resources to start. The goal, help you pick something that genuinely excites you and just start building, right now.
Yeah.
Avoid that motivation killer.
That paralysis is just brutal, and it leads straight into what people call tutorial hell, doesn't it?
Totally.
You're just consuming, watching, reading, but never actually making anything. You might know the theory, the syntax, whatever, but turning that into a real working application, that's a whole different ballgame.
It really is. It's like having all the ingredients but no recipe, or maybe too many recipes, and you just freeze.
Yeah, or you're scared of picking the wrong one or starting something too big.
Is that what it is? Information overload or fear?
I think it's often a mix, but that's why practical application is just so valuable. Knowledge really sticks when you apply it, Hands-on projects are, well, you called it a crucible earlier, right? That's where the theory gets hammered into actual skill.
I like that, the crucible.
You have to debug, solve real problems, stuff you just don't get from tutorials. So, yeah, this deep dive is about cutting through that noise, giving you direction.
Okay, cool. So let's get into the projects. The Coding Sloth video organizes them by difficulty, which is super helpful. Beginner, intermediate, advanced, and then this 10x developer category.
And they give ratings for each one, right? Difficulty, resume-worthy, learning value, even coolness.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting. Gives you different ways to look at them.
Exactly. Like maybe you want high learning value right now, even if it's not the flashiest thing for a resume. Or maybe you just need something cool to stay motivated. It lets you choose what fits your goals.
Makes sense. So let's kick things off with the beginner projects. These are great if you're just starting out or maybe solidifying the basics. Minimal resources needed, designed to get you coding fast.
Yeah, these are fantastic confidence builders. You learn fundamental stuff, basic web structure, user interaction, maybe simple data handling. And because they're achievable, you get that quick win, that feeling of, hey, I built something, which is honestly super motivating.
Okay, first up, a real basic but essential one. Your own portfolio. Difficulty is like 110. And resume worthy. 0, because, well, it is your resume.
Right. It's your digital storefront. Mostly HTML, CSS, maybe a touch of JavaScript.
It's got to be done, though, right?
Oh, absolutely. Even if it's simple, you're working with core web tech. It's your introduction to potential employers or collaborators.
Then there's the to-do list app. The source calls it the hello world of web development. Good for basic JavaScript or PHP. Seems almost like a cliche project.
It does, but there's a solid reason it's so common. It teaches basic CR-UD operations: create, read, update, delete.
Okay. CR read.
Yeah, and think about it. Almost every application involves CRD in some way. Social media, banking apps, e-commerce. It's all about managing data. Nailing CRD here is fundamental.
Good point. Okay, another classic, the calculator. Simple way to learn fundamentals can make it harder with advanced math stuff, too.
Right. It reinforces logic, how operators work, handling input and output. Seems simple, but it really drills those basic programming constructs.
What about learning APIs? The source suggests a random quote generator. Just displays a quote fetched from somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a perfect intro to APIs. You're basically building a little bridge from your app to data out there on the internet. Super common task in modern development.
Okay. And a quiz program.
Yeah.
Simple multiple choice thing.
Good for practicing conditional logic, like if this answer's right, do this.
Yeah.
Also arrays for storing questions and just managing basic user interaction. Solid practice.
And the last beginner one is kind of fun. A QR code generator. The source gave this a 1210 for coolness, which is funny.
Huh, yeah, it just converts some text or a link into a QR code.
But it's tangible, right? You make something you can scan with your phone.
Exactly. It shows that even simple projects can be satisfying if they produce something cool or useful. And, this really highlights that point about starting now. You don't need a fancy setup for these. A browser, a text editor, you can genuinely start building right now with limited resources.
Perfect segue. Okay, so you've built some confidence with those. Let's level up to the intermediate projects. This is where things get, well, a bit more meaty, right? You start combining ideas.
Definitely. These often involve pulling together multiple concepts, maybe integrating external services or new technologies. They push your skills and get you thinking about how different parts of an application talk to each other.
All right, first one. The AI girlfriend or boyfriend. And the source gives us a -1 out of 10 for coolness.
Yeah, that rating is pretty hilarious. But setting aside the concept, technically it's interesting.
How so? It uses things like GPT-4, Gemini, Llama.
Right. So despite the questionable coolness, it's actually a really relevant project for learning how to integrate with these powerful large language models via their APIs, building conversational interfaces, handling the back and forth. Those are valuable skills today.
Okay, fair enough. Next, the smart mirror. This sounds cool. Combines software and hardware, uses a Raspberry Pi maybe. Displays weather, news.
Yeah, this is a fantastic project if you're interested in the Internet of Things or IoT. You're making software interact with hardware, pulling data from APIs like weather services, displaying information visually. It's tangible, it looks impressive. High coolness factor there.
For the financially minded, a personal finance tracker. Tracks expenses, uses charts for visualization.
And the source mentions it can get pretty advanced if you integrate third-party services like Plaid.
Plaid, what's that?
It's a service that lets apps securely connect to users' bank accounts to pull transaction data. Makes a finance tracker way more powerful. But even without Plaid, you're learning data visualization, maybe some basic data analysis, potentially secure data handling, really practical stuff, especially if you like working with data.
Okay. How about a real-time chat application? Uses things like WebSockets, needs a front-end, back-end database.
This is a big one for understanding real-time communication. Think about apps like Slack or Discord or even Google Docs collaboration. It's different from the usual request-response web model. You learn about persistent connections, handling lots of concurrent users, broadcasting messages. It's a significant step up.
Sounds like it. You could also build a travel booking system. Lots of API integration here. Searching, booking.
Yeah.
CRU again, I guess.
Definitely uses CRU, but often with more complex data and interactions, you're likely integrating with multiple external APIs, maybe flight APIs, hotel APIs. So you learn about managing those complex data flows, handling search, and filtering effectively. Plus, yeah, if it helps you plan a vacation, bonus coolness points.
Then there's building an HTTP server. The source jokes, this makes you sound like a hacker, but it's about understanding how the web fundamentally works, right? TCP, HTTP requests.
Absolutely. Building your own server, even a simple one, from scratch, it forces you to understand the protocols, how browsers and servers talk, how multiple connections are handled. It's a deep dive into the foundations of the internet. Really valuable knowledge.
Last one for intermediate.
Yeah.
A chatbot, like for Discord, WhatsApp, Slack.
Yeah, building a bot. This teaches you about platform-specific APIs, handling user input in a conversational way, maybe state management for conversations. It often involves event-driven programming. The bot reacts to messages or commands. Plus, you can get really creative with what the bot actually does.
Okay, these intermediate ones definitely add layers of complexity. Now, let's brace ourselves for the advanced projects. These sound like they really push your limits.
They do. The learning curve is steeper, for sure. But the understanding you gain is profound. You're not just using tools anymore. You're starting to understand their internal workings, their architecture. These can be real portfolio centerpieces.
All right, first, build your own neural network. Whoa, essential for AML, obviously. The source says bonus points for doing it from scratch without relying heavily on libraries.
Right. Libraries like TensorFlow or PyTorch make it easier, but building the core components yourself, understanding things like activation functions, layers, backpropagation, gives you such a deep, fundamental grasp of how machine learning actually works under the hood. It demystifies AI.
That sounds intense but rewarding. Then, an algorithm visualizer. The source called this a 2-for-1, learn data structures and algorithms by visualizing them.
This is brilliant, especially for, say, interview prep or just truly understanding algorithm efficiency. Instead of just reading about Quicksort, you build something that shows you how Quicksort works step by step. It makes abstract concepts concrete and visual. Huge learning value.
Okay, this next one sounds massive. A real-time editor. Like recreating Google Docs or Notion features, collaboration, sharing, permissions, version history.
Yeah, this is a beast. You're tackling really complex challenges here. Distributed systems concepts, handling concurrent edits without conflicts or resolving them gracefully, managing permissions, maybe operational transforms or CRDTs for the real-time sync. It mirrors the hard problems big tech companies solve. Very impressive if you can pull it off.
Seriously. And finally, for advanced, just build a video game. High coolness, but involves unique skills.
Totally. Game development brings together so many things. Game logic, maybe physics simulation, graphics rendering, managing game state, handling user input constantly. It's a very different kind of programming challenge, often requiring performance optimization and creative problem solving. Plus, it's fun.
Definitely sounds fun, if challenging. Okay, we've reached the final tier, the 10x developer projects. The source positions these as the ultimate challenge for deep understanding. What does 10x developer mean here? It's not just about speed, is it?
No, not in the sometimes controversial productivity sense. Here, it means gaining that profound, foundational, almost first principles understanding of core technologies by actually rebuilding them. You go from just using Git or Redis to understanding why they work the way they do, their architectural choices, their trade-offs. You become a true expert, not just a user.
Got it. Okay, first example. Build your own Git. Recreate the version control system we all use daily, learning about Git objects, directories.
Exactly. Why does Git store things the way it does? How do branching and merging actually work under the covers? Building even a simplified version reveals the elegance and power of distributed version control. It gives you a whole new appreciation for the tool.
Then, build your own Redis, an in-memory database from scratch.
Yeah, Redis is all about speed, keeping data right in memory. Building it forces you to think about efficient data structures, network programming for handling client connections, maybe different persistence strategies. You learn why it's so fast and how it manages concurrent requests. Deep dive into database internals.
And build your own BitTorrent, understanding that peer-to-peer file sharing protocol.
This one's about distributed systems and networking. How do you break up large files? How do peers find each other? How do you ensure data integrity when downloading pieces from many sources? It's a fascinating look at decentralized communication protocols.
These sound incredibly challenging.
Yeah.
But you're not just thrown in the deep end completely alone, right? The source mentioned resources.
Absolutely crucial point. That build your own X GitHub repo is a great starting point. And the source specifically highlighted a site called CodeCrafters. Apparently, it offers step-by-step guides for these kinds of complex projects like building Docker, Squalite, Redis, Git, created by experienced engineers.
So it guides you but doesn't just give you the code.
Exactly. It's designed to help you avoid tutorial hell while still making you do the hard work of figuring out the implementation. It guides your learning through challenge, which is super effective for building that deep understanding. They even offer some free challenges sometimes.
That sounds like a really valuable resource for tackling these beasts. Okay, so wrapping this all up, what's the big takeaway for you, the listener? It really comes back to that core idea, doesn't it? Just build something.
It really does. The power of actually building cannot be overstated. These projects, from the simplest beginner ones to rebuilding Redis, are about turning theory into practice. They help you overcome that "what do I build" hurdle and hopefully get you excited about coding again.
And you don't need the perfect setup or all the knowledge up front.
Not at all. That's a key message here. Start now with what you have, even if it's limited resources. The act of starting, of building iteratively, figuring things out as you go, that's where the real learning happens. Even those coolness ratings, some useful, some maybe less so, they point to the fact that motivation is personal. Find what excites you. Maybe it's the learning, maybe the resume boost, maybe it's just building something fun or, yes, cool.
So pick something that resonates, whether it's practical, educational, or just plain interesting to you, and just start. Get your hands dirty with code.
Exactly, because beyond the technical skills learning a language, a framework, an API, these projects build something even more important. Problem-solving skills, critical thinking, resilience.
Learning how to learn, really.
Precisely. Debugging, searching for answers, breaking down complex problems. Those are the universal skills that really make a great developer, or, frankly, help in any complex field.
Well said. So, as we finish this deep dive, remember the value of just building whatever your skill level. And that leaves us with a final thought for you to chew on. Reflecting on all these different ideas, from simple tools to complex systems, what's one piece of technology, or maybe just a practical problem you face that you'd love to understand better by trying to build your own tiny version of it, starting today? Even if it's just, one function or a really basic interface, what would that be?